Today, I'm going to help take away some of the mystery of playing over chord changes and nailing chord tones. And dare I say, we might even step a little outside the chords. Play a little outside, show you how to twist your ear a little bit, and you're going to get a free download. So stay with me, here we go. All right, Terrio back at you. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a while since I posted, but I've been out in the trenches. I'm a working cat. That's what I do. So yeah, that little clip that you just heard was myself and Oz Noy last week at the bitter end in New York City. And that was a tune of mine called Dublin that we're going to use today as a template for me to teach you this little lesson. Dublin is off of a record of mine called The Grease Factor. Maybe you have it. Some of you guys out there have my solo stuff. And I'm real proud of that record. If you're interested, check it out. There's a link below. So anywho, the solo section is a minor blues with a little turnaround to a little slant. So let's go over the chords first, and then I'm going to break it down the nuts and bolts and show you some soloing approaches. By the way, you can get this download absolutely free. Click the link below. And you're not only getting the download, you're getting like from my record with Johnny Vodakovich, one of the greatest drummers in New Orleans, playing his drums on it. Johnny Neal from Government Mule, Allman Brothers, late great Johnny Neal's playing B3. It's a lot of fun to solo over, and it's a cool little track to have. So it's free, just click the link. So let me go over the chords to that, all right? It's very simple. If you play a minor blues, I'm sure you've played them before. You have, the one chord is C minor 7 for 2 bars. Then we go to an F minor 7, 2 bars. C minor 7. Then we go to the turnaround, which is an E flat dominant 7 to a G7. Now, there's other ways to play the G7. There's altered voicings. I'm going to go over that in a sec, but those are the basic chord changes. Now, if you don't even know these chords, then what I'm going to tell you after is it's going to be way over your head. I mean, it's not an advanced lesson, but you got to at least know basic soloing over a minor blues. If you play some blues, pentatonic shape, you'll be in good shape with this lesson. Let me show you what it sounds like. This is what you'll get on the download. So it's C minor 7 to F minor 7. E flat 7, G7. All right, to solo over this, the basic idea, the thing everybody goes to is C minor pentatonic scales, C minor blues. That's fine. We all know what that sounds like. And it's going to work. It sounds fine. It works. It gets old pretty quick, but it works over the whole progression, and you can use that if you want to. Sounds fine. So what I'm going to show you now we're getting to the lesson. So soloing over these changes, there's several opportunities to outline the chord changes. Now, what does that mean? It just means you give the listener, you support the chord change, and what it does is it makes it interesting for the listener. Now, this is assuming you have some phrasing and an idea to go with it. Otherwise, it's just theory and notes, all right? So here's the basic thing you could do, all right? The first step would be to outline the chord tones. And one good place to do it is when the chord approaches the 4 chord, which would be F minor. If I outline that chord of the F using one note even, it lifts it and it conveys to the listener like, you just outline that change. There's a chord change going on. So check it out, 2 notes. That's the minor third of F. There's another one down here. If you know your triads, C minor, F minor. That one note just adds a little bit of flavor to it. It's like adding salt to it or something. It just, boom, it makes it pop. And when you get some ideas happening, now, what did I do there? I used the same approach. I just found the color note of the E flat. Remember, it goes to E flat. That's the flat 7 of E flat. Notice how it sounds terrible over C, but it works over E flat, and that's because I'm outlining the chord changes. So remember, the progression goes E flat 7 to a G7. Over the G7, I played that. What is that? That's the 3rd of G. So I'm messing with thirds and a flat 7. That's what I'm doing. And if you just walked away at this point and said, all right, I'm going to try what Shane said with the thirds, and I'm going to stick to my C minor blues scale and plug those in, you would have a lot going on just with that, right? I've been up to that third. Blues, 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 blues. See, I'm approaching those. Those are triads. E flat, G7. E flat. So I got a little fancier there, but what I'm doing there is I approach the E flat. That's E flat mixolydian. And then G, what I did was I played kind of what is that? C harmonic minor, I guess. I don't really think of that way anymore, but I just use like a C minor. But I added that third in there. And then that too, that note, that's a flat 9 of G. I know it sounds super analytical and technical. It kind of is, but believe me, it goes away quickly. I don't think this way when I'm soloing at all. I just know what those notes sound like. And it's like when you're speaking, you have to learn the vocabulary first, then you let it go. You don't always have to, look up the meaning of a word. You'll just know and roll with it. And that's kind of how this works. You're just building your palette of colors to be able to choose from. All right. So that leads us into playing, outside, kind of what I was doing. And once you get to a certain point in improvising, I remember years ago when I was really young and I saw a thing with Pat Metheny where he's like, I just see everything as notes. I don't see scales and patterns. I'm kind of like that at this point. I don't really think about all the scales and patterns unless I'm breaking it down. Because if you can phrase and you can play ideas, the notes are almost secondary. I know maybe it doesn't make sense, but you can make anything work. That's a better way to say it. Anything goes. As long as you land, you have a strong resolution, you land on your feet. What I was doing in that initial video, I was playing a little bit out. And that's where, that's where it gets a little difficult to talk because I'm just kind of playing more ideas and phrases, and some of those are off the top of my head. But there are certain little devices, I hate to use that word, certain things you can use, all right, to get yourself in that direction. Couple things. If you're just going to play the pentatonic scale, like the early fusion guys used to do, they just play the pentatonic scale up a half step over the G altered, and that outlines some of the out tones. Up a half step. See how I resolved it back to C? That's a big part of it. You got to know how to land on your feet. All right. And a little goes a long way. What I did there, it's very obvious. That's why I did that. That's a major triad, an E major triad over the G. And what that does, if you analyze it over G, there's your flat 9, 13, third, flat 9 again. You can use C harmonic minor. That works. You could use A flat melodic minor. Those are ways to play outside using scales. Sometimes I don't think that way. I just play licks, move them around, but I'm good at resolving it, or at least I try to be good at resolving landing on my feet. That's a hard one. I'm gonna have to do a whole nother lesson just on outside, all right? But that'll get you started. I hope you dug this. Get the free download. Hey, if you like rhythm guitar stuff, I have a great new course called Deep Pockets Rhythm Guitar Mastery. It's available. Link below. Thank you to all of you that have purchased it so far. It's been great, good responses. I'll see you next time. Hit the like, subscribe, help me to build the channel. Keeps me motivated to keep doing more. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subs by the end of the year. I'd appreciate it if you help me get there. I'll see you soon. Terrio out.